or have another print disability which makes reading, holding a book, or turning a page difficult or impossible. The content is copyrighted by the respective publishers. For more information, please visit us on the web at nfradioreading.org.
Around Our Area continues now on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. Your reader for this hour is Sally Herzog. I go to our first paper. This is the Southtowns West Seneca, Orchard Park, and East Aurora's newspapers. It is the Thursday, May 14, 2026 edition. We go to our first article. Bellwood Development Project moves forward. This is by Eric Kepler. The West Seneca Town Board on Monday approved a request for a special use permit that would allow Visano Company to develop the long-vacant former Bellwood School property at 2806 Seneca Street into a multifamily development. Visano acquired the property at the Erie County foreclosure auction right around the beginning of 2025, and has had development in mind from the start. Our mission is to transform this vacant 1928 structure, which has sat dormant for years, back into a contributing asset to the town's tax rolls by creating 18 high-quality multifamily residences. Visone Director of Real Estate Brian Zhang told the board. The original building was constructed in 1912, with a significant addition built in 1928. Before centralizing, it served as the West Seneca High School until approximately 1949. It then served as an elementary school until it closed in 1982. The four-story brick building has been vacant ever since. The town board voted unanimously to accept the State Environmental Quality Review Act, or SEQR, that showed a negative declaration for any environmental impact, and then also unanimously passed a special use permit to allow the project to move forward. It's a small trade-off to rehab a building that has been vacant for 40 years, said Councilman Brian Bridenstine. It'll be good to get that back in operation. Designers Sutton Architecture and Metzger Engineering submitted plans that show 6 first-floor units, including 4 two-level loft units at 1,274 to 1,536 square feet each, and 2 standard one-bedroom apartments of 766 and 792 square feet, and one-bedroom apartments ranging in size from 571 to 893 square feet. The town zoning board granted necessary variances for density and parking in March, and said Code Enforcement Officer Jeff Schreiber and the Planning Board also provided its unanimous approval for the project. Zhang added that the project aligns closely with the town's comprehensive plan, which cites a critical need for housing variety to support the town's changing demographics. The building already exists, she said. It fits the neighborhood character, and it doesn't change the building's historic profile. The only change is the addition of an elevator tower for accessibility, and it addresses long-time safety and deterioration risks. During the public hearing, ahead of the vote, one resident named Mary expressed concerns about increased traffic and sewage, and was told that both the town engineer and officials from the Erie County Department of Transportation had looked at the expected increases and found both to be well inside the acceptable limit. Another resident was in favor of the project. Singh said afterwards that there was no timeline for the commencement of the project. We're not asking to change the neighborhood, he said. We're asking to save a piece of it. One Who Knocks. Lacrosse program fuels cancer fundraising effort. This is by Eric Kepler. The scoreboard said that West Seneca East boys lacrosse team beat West Seneca West 6-2. But everyone was a winner that day, in the West Seneca Central School District's third annual Stick It to Cancer event that saw players from both teams wear jerseys that represented friends and family members who are fighting or have fought the deadly disease, while raising money for the American Cancer Society in the process. This means the world to me as a coach and as an educator, said West coach Don Cantafayo. As a person, you want to do your best to motivate your team. I was part of a lot of rivalry games, but since we tacked on the cancer games, it's really elevated the competition and the respect for each other. It means a great deal to us, all because everybody has been affected by this disease in some way. The players raised $8,555 this year for cancer research and have brought in almost $25,000 total over 3 years. The idea was born of grief and fear as Cantafio and East Boys lacrosse coach Jim Massano quickly formed a bond over a despicable common enemy, cancer. Massano has lost both parents to cancer, while Cantafio's father, Joe, began his own battle with a serious form of cancer about 3 years ago. Jim and I were talking about it, and I decided to honor our families and do this for our rivalry games, Don Cantafio said. We wanted to make the rivalry even more meaningful and show the kids that there's an even deeper meaning behind it. It's important for the kids to understand that they can play for something bigger than themselves. It was Dan's brother Paul who conned the name of the movement when he told his father, "You've got this, Dad. You are the one who knocks." At first I didn't understand the reference to that iconic scene in Breaking Bad, when Skyler tells Walker how afraid she is that every time someone knocks on the door, he is in danger, said Joe Cantafio. Walter looks at Skyler and reassures her with, "I am not the danger. I am the one who knocks." This metaphor is especially poignant when you are in that examination room waiting for your doctor to knock on the door and give you the results of your tests and treatments. It's terrifying to know how your life can change after that knock. But that phrase became our rallying inspiration, and it has spread like wildfire. First in the West Seneca School District, where it has grown into 12 events this year, including volleyball, Dig for a Cure hockey, Stick It to a Cure, wrestling, Take Down Cancer, flag football, Pull the Flag on Cancer, and baseball, Strike Out Cancer. These events, led entirely by coaches and students, have raised close to $40,000 and counting through donations, pledges, and jersey sales for the American Cancer Society. When the players get together afterwards to talk about who they play for or who they lost, it's just incredible, said Joe Cantafio, who has been cancer-free for a little over a year now. Now the idea is spreading throughout western New York, with programs from Kenmore, Orchard Park, Iroquois, Star Point, Eden, Frontier, Niagara, Wheatfield, Williamsville, Depew, and Lancaster also holding their own events this year. Other schools have been taking notice, and they want their own programs to be part of something bigger and raise money for a good cause, Dan Canafano said. When they see that they could do this too, it just took off. Of course, a big part of the success of the drive must be given to the donors who helped get it off the ground in the first place 3 years ago, with volunteers, donations, and jerseys, including Al Ross, screen printing and embroidery, Reimer Heating, Plumbing, and Air Conditioning, Sroy Lolly Group LLC, and Jeffrey Michael Sroy Foundation Crossbar Athletics. It spread by word of mouth, and once people in the community found out about it, they wanted to help. Dan Cantafayo said, "We're blessed that so many people have donated to this important cause, and every penny goes to the ACS. For me, it's about being able to honor my father. My dad is the main part of why I do what I do, and I wouldn't have become the same person without him. I like to think that I honor him every day, and that's why this game is so special. So everybody can honor someone special to them. To donate, visit https://tinyurl.com/YC45MSPC. Officials respond to park vandalism. This is by Eric Kepler. The West Seneca Town Board on Monday evening addressed the recent wave of vandalism that has struck several town parks in recent weeks. Much of the damage has been in the form of vehicles doing donuts on the athletic fields and other green spaces, resulting in deep ruts that have been filled with water and mud. It's pretty disheartening because our crew takes a lot of pride in maintaining the grounds and keeping them safe for residents, said West Seneca Highway Superintendent Brian Adams. We've been working with the police department on some of the issues that have come up. We are also looking into some additional security cameras throughout the park system. The soccer complex and Harlem Room Park have been hit especially hard, and the damage to the fields has been extensive and even resulted in the cancellation of soccer practices and games. This is something that the police department takes very seriously when there's damage to our parks, said West Seneca Police Chief Brian Cosgrove. It's not just something where they take a report and move on. We review security footage. We interview people in the schools. We are actively trying to identify these individuals and file charges. In addition, several of the restrooms at the various facilities have been damaged, prompting the closure of the Harlem Road bathroom at 3 p.m. daily. Adams said that portable restrooms have been placed on site and for park users, although he hopes this is a temporary measure. It's not uncommon to occasionally get some vandalism, but it seems like there's been a lot more lately. It's disappointing to see because we've done a lot over the past few years to improve our parks, Adams said. We do our best to accommodate the entire community and maintain nice parks here so that everyone can use them as they intended, especially now that the weather is getting nicer. They're pretty heavily used. There's a lot of people around. Adams is also encouraging the public at large to keep a watchful eye and immediately call in anything suspicious. The police department anonymous tip line is 716-675-8423. Don't get involved, said West Seneca Supervisor Gary Dixon. Let the professionals handle it. According to the town website, there are 16 parks with recreation facilities ranging from passive areas and trails to fully lighted sports fields. The town park facilities include Black Bridge Park, Boy Scout Park, Charles E. Birchfield Art and Nature Center, Carriage Park, Children's Memorial Park, Dixon Playground, Dorrance Playground, Fireman Park, East and West Park, Fisher Road Park, Harlem Road Park, Mill Road Park, Soccer Complex, Sunshine Park, Switzer Park, Tom Russer Park, Veterans Memorial Park, Centennial Park, and Westgate Playground. Just know that if you do these things, we will do everything we can to find you, Cosgrove said. Prasad named recipient of Orchard Park Library Scholarship. Orchard Park High School senior Cassandra Prasad has been named as this year's scholarship recipient of the annual Friends of the Orchard Park Public Library's $1,000 Scholarship Award. Prasad will attend Brighton Young University in the fall. Her essay beautifully captured the importance of libraries in our community, organizers say. Prasad wrote, "The library is the conduit through which people can access portals through time that teach lessons through history." She also reflected on the library's role as a welcoming place for all. The library is also fully accessible. It's a free institution that welcomes all people. It's the accessibility that makes it an indispensable foundation of the Orchard Park community. The library brings the Orchard Park community together and is a place that transcends boundaries to create a safe place for everyone. Cassandra's thoughtful words remind us why libraries matter so deeply as places of learning, connection, and belonging, said Ashley Wheeler, one of the Friends of the Orchard Park Library. For more information on the Friends of the Orchard Park Library or on the library itself, visit friendsofoplibrary.org. Farmers markets stimulate taste buds and the economy. Consumers in West Seneca and surrounding neighborhoods will soon be able to take advantage of fresh produce and locally made fare and sample area favorites as the West Seneca Farmers Market opens on May 21st, followed by Orchard Park's June 1st. East Aurora's market has been up and running since May 3rd. Patrons should take a moment to look around while at the market, observing part of the local economy in motion. Amid the colorful booths and neighboring conversation is the exchange of dollars, creating tiny economic sparks. According to an impact study conducted by Civic Economics, locally owned retailers such as farmers markets return more than 3 times as much of their revenue to the local economy than do their corporate competitions. This means your farmers market purchases not only stock your pantry with fresh, healthy food, but recycle money throughout your community, boosting economic activity and job creation. As demand for locally sourced produce continues to grow, so does the number of farmers markets across the nation. More than 8,500 markets were on record as of 2015, and for good reason. Farmers markets preserve farmland and rural livelihoods, increase access to fresh food, and support healthier communities, all while giving a much-needed economic boost. According to the Farmers Market Coalition, economic impacts of farmers markets are seen on all levels nationally. Growers selling locally create 13 full-time jobs per $1 million in revenue earned. Those that do not sell locally create 3. The U.S. Department of Agriculture estimates that local food sales from farmers markets, food hubs, farm stands, and farm-to-schools programs have grown from about $5 million in 2008 to $11.7 million or billion dollars in 2014. A 2010 study by USDA's Economic Research Service compared producers selling salad mix, blueberries, milk, beef, and apples locally with producers of the same product selling to mainstream supply. The study concluded that in all 5 cases, nearly all of the wage and proprietor income earned in the local market chains is retained in the local economy. Farms selling local food through direct-to-consumer marketing remain in business than all forms not using direct-to-consumer marketing channels, according to the U.S. Census agricultural data. When you visit the West Seneca Farmers Market next week, think about more than the items on your grocery list. And remember, not only are you stimulating your taste buds, but the economy too. West Falls resident honored for advocacy work. This is by Justin Sullivan. Less than a year after she began her mission of pushing for better safety measures for first responders and firefighters, West Falls resident Clara Stucker, a firefighter and EMT for the West Falls Fire Company, was honored with prestigious Student Excellence in Public Health Award at the 2026 New York State Public Health Partnership Conference, which took place last month in Lake Placid. The award, presented by the New York State Public Health Association and the New York State Association for Rural Health, recognizes students who demonstrate a strong commitment to public health. This conference, which followed a theme advancing health equity together through innovation and communication, is designed for public health educators, academic staff, county health officials, and employees, students, medical and dental practitioners, state health employees, and others in the fields of public health, education, and medical care. A graduate of Springville Griffith Institute and a freshman at Mercyhurst University in Pennsylvania, majoring in intelligence and Russian studies, Stucker, who comes from a family of firefighters, notably hosts free local self-defense classes as part of her advocacy work for advanced safety training for EMTs. Additionally, Stucker, a second-degree black belt and certified karate instructor, helped develop a training program to ensure current and future fire responders are prepared. Since starting this mission, she has spoken with policymakers about risks that first responders, particularly in rural areas, face daily, often due to limited training and the lack of training module. Violence against first responders, particularly EMS and firefighters, is a growing issue, according to the National Library of Medicine, with studies showing 57% to 93% of EMS personnel experiencing verbal or physical violence during their careers. In a single year, 46% of surveyed first responders reported experiencing a physical act of violence, while 77% reported verbal. For more information on NYSARH, visit nysarb.org. The mark of a person's character is what they do, not what they say. This year, Memorial Day falls on Monday, May 25th. In West Seneca, the parade starts at 10:30 a.m. from Southgate Plaza to Paula's Donuts. The Orchard Park parade starts at 9:30 a.m. near the Orchard Park Library, and the East Aurora parade starts at 10:30 a.m. from Hamlin Park. The West Seneca parade will end at Town Hall, where the public will assemble in front of the Veterans Memorial for the annual Memorial Day ceremony, honoring our nation's men and women who made the ultimate sacrifice. As a veteran, Memorial Day is always an emotional time. I've taken part in all of the Memorial Day events in West Seneca, and I'm always impressed by the number of people who attend them. West Seneca, like most places in Western New York, is a very patriotic place. Our residents value those who serve our country. Those who made the ultimate sacrifice are honored on Memorial Day. We remember. My youngest son, Connor, also served in the military, in his case, the Marine Corps. Connor's service happened to be at the Marine Corps base in Washington, D.C., and he marched in many parades. But this most significant duty was as a member and eventually team leader of the firing party at funerals in Arlington National Cemetery. He wrote a very poignant essay about his time in the firing party. Occasionally, I post it on Facebook. Suffice it to say, these 20-something young men, still kids in my mind, put in an extraordinary amount of time to make sure that the burial ceremony is as perfect as humanly possible. I happen to believe that after high school, every young person should do some sort of service. Not all in the military, of course, but someplace where they spend a couple of years giving back to the community. Young men in particular are not always mature enough to buckle down and study in a college or a trade school. The military or some other service gives them the discipline that will benefit them for the rest of their lives. That was certainly my experience. After graduating from high school, I attended a community college and was at best a so-so student. I decided to enlist in the Army, where I eventually spent 6 years. After the Army, I finished my college degree at the University of Maryland, where I found the coursework to be incredibly easy. Did college get easier in 6 years? Probably not. Was I smarter than I was 6 years earlier? Definitely not. Was I more mature and able to focus on complicated subjects? Most definitely. The mark of a person's character is what they do, not what they say. It's a young soldier sacrificing his life for his buddies in the humid jungle or hot desert thousands of miles away. It's a group of young Marines practicing over and over in a parking garage to make sure that a grieving family hears a perfect 21-gun salute. It's getting up in the middle of the night to put out a fire and volunteering at a food pantry. Those things, and so many others, are what ordinary Americans do day in and day out to make our communities better. This is America. East Aurora Schools Thriving Under Adverse Budgetary Conditions. This is by Brian Russ, East Aurora Superintendent of Schools. As another school year draws to a close, I write to you not only to celebrate the remarkable achievement of our students and staff, but also to address the significant financial challenges that have shaped our operations. It has been a year defined by both continued academic excellence and creative resilience in the face of difficult budget decisions. Our core values of learning excellence, respectful relationships, effective communication, and continuous improvements have remained at the forefront of every decision. Across the district, we have seen exceptional growth rooted by innovative and enduring programs. At Parkdale Elementary, our commitment is evidence-based construction continues to thrive through initiatives like the Science of Reading. This program is an ongoing effort aligned with the broader BOCES Symposium, focused on implementing research-aligned support to improve literacy outcomes for all students. This focus on continuous improvement is what sets our academic foundation apart. The middle school has successfully championed a culture of connection and belonging with the implementation of the Where Everybody Belongs mentor program. WEB is a nationally recognized year-long transition program that pairs incoming 5th graders students with trained 8th grade leaders. Currently, 43 dedicated 8th graders serve as positive role models, mentoring and guiding 5th graders to success while helping them feel comfortable and supporting during their first middle school year. The program directly supports our social-emotional learning objectives by fostering an environment free from intimidation and building positive relationships throughout the building. At the high school, our students are actively preparing to embrace the portrait of a graduate, our Blue Devil design, and sustainable agriculture programs are premier examples of how our district is preparing to meet those requirements. Sustainable agriculture, affectionately known as the farm, teaches students about sustainability, produced food, even providing honey for community events, and hosting a summer internship program. Similarly, BDD continues to run a successful student business, showcasing the entrepreneurial spirit and design skills of our students. Our continued success extends far beyond the core curriculum. This year saw magnificent artistic performances, including the amazing musicals Frozen and Little Mermaid Jr., and the successful drama Clue, which all played to sold-out crowds. In athletics, our athletes achieved remarkable success. Boys cross country and boys soccer teams won state titles, and girls cross country and boys lacrosse were crowned section champions. Excellent student participation flourished in a number of clubs, including Model UN, Rocket, Masterminds, Drama, and DECA, demonstrating the breadth of opportunities available. This commitment to comprehensive excellence occurred during one of the most challenging budget cycles in recent memory. We faced a perfect storm of stagnant state funding paired with significant cost escalates across all district operations. Furthermore, a district-wide deficit necessitated tough choices, impacting all areas of the budget, including programming, technology, support services, and extracurricular experiences. To protect our core mission, we implemented a rigorous tiered reduction strategy that allowed us to prioritize student programming and essential services. Through this proactive, disciplined planning, we successfully avoided wide-scale reductions, limiting final staffing adjustments. We remain committed to finding creative and sustainable ways to support our students and staff. During these challenging times, we rely on you more than ever. I understand these reductions are difficult and unanticipated, but please know that we do not arrive at them lightly and hope our community recognizes the complexity of the situation we're facing. Our success is only possible when we all are working together. Our dedicated grounds workers, secretaries, teachers, counselors, support staff, administrators, parents, and community members. Thank you for your continued support and partnership as we navigate these financial challenges together. Your commitment helps ensure that East Aurora remains a premier learning environment while upholding the high standards our community expects. And before we move to our next paper, we'd like to tell you you're listening to Around Our Area on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. And we move on to our next paper, The Sun, and this is the Friday, May 15th, 2026 edition. Going to our first article, Erie County Agricultural Society moves closer to site plan approval for new building on Erie County Fairgrounds. This is by Chris Graham. The Erie County Agricultural Society has cleared its next hurdle in constructing a new building on the Erie County Fairgrounds campus, going through a public hearing which featured one comment on how the construction process would go. The plan includes the demolition of the State Police Building, Repelling Tower, and the perimeter of the Marketplace Building to construct a new one-story, 32,850 square foot building in the Slate Park area of the fairgrounds. The new building, set to be positioned between the Ag Grange building and the Fireman's building, would provide the fairgrounds with a medium-sized structure for events. The permanent structure would host Erie County Fair and non-fair events. Ted Guro, a resident of Cherry Place, whose home borders the fairgrounds, asked during a Town of Hamburg Planning Board public hearing that construction debris not be dumped in the parking lot in view of his home, and that heavy equipment not be parked near his property line. Doug Hutter, an architect with Zaxis Architectural, who is representing the society, said the construction site will be fully enclosed in fencing. All staging and storage of materials will be within a fenced-in area. The folks on Cherry Place won't even see that activity. Construction vehicles arriving, leaving, going on, Hutter said. The project received the necessary approval from the board, would start after this year's fair with the first demolition of the State Police building. Utilities would be installed in the fall, with construction of the new building beginning in the spring of 2027. After the 2027 fair, construction will continue. The new building was to be set to open for the 2028 fair. Since appearing before the board for the first time in April, a landscaping plan was presented to the board. The project will remove 28 total trees, with 37 remaining within the work area. A permit to take down the trees will be required by the town. Hutter said 6 of the trees being removed are ash trees that are ailing in health. The project will also put in 31 new trees. There will also be additional plantings around the building. The society will be back in front of the board on Wednesday, May 20th. At this meeting, resolutions will be presented for State Environmental Quality Review Act determination and site plan approval. Town of Hamburg enacts moratorium on battery energy storage systems, Tier 2 and Tier 3 solar projects. This is by Chris Graham. The Town of Hamburg has enacted a 1-year moratorium on battery energy storage system and Tier 2 and Tier 3 solar projects, receiving strong support from those that spoke during a public hearing. The moratorium, which was unanimously adopted by the Hamburg Town Board on May 4th, will put a pause on the development of battery energy storage systems and Tier 2 and Tier 3 solar projects in the municipality. This moratorium will not affect Tier 1 solar projects, which would include someone placing solar panels on the roof. Any project that were in the planning pipeline are not affected by the moratorium. This includes EDF Power Solutions North America's planned 9.25-acre Tier 3 community solar project on farmland on Pleasant Avenue. That project was first presented to the town board on March 18th and had an application filed with the town earlier that month. The resolution for a moratorium wasn't introduced until April 13th. They're grandfathered in, meaning that they're going to continue to go through the review process at the different boards, said Josh Rogers, a planning consultant for Wendell. The project, 18 Mile Solar, is a 2-megawatt solar project. The project will have bifacial panels, string converters, a transformer, a perimeter fence, and access drive. The company has entered into a lease agreement with the owner of the land for a term of 25 years that can go up to 40 years. Residents abutting the proposed project have stressed that they believe their property values will decrease, that the project will provide no benefits to the neighborhood, and that it could reshape the area in the long term. Rogers said on May 6th that EDF's project has been delayed indefinitely, as the company will inform the planning department when they will appear again in front of the planning board to submit further documents on the proposed plan. The reasoning for the moratorium is so that the town can update both its battery energy storage systems code and solar code amid an ever-changing landscape for renewable energy in New York State. The solar code was first enacted in 2020, while the battery energy storage system code came along in 2021. When it comes to New York State, especially renewable energy, 5 years and 6 years is an eternity from the last time it's been adopted, Rogers said. We wanted to take a look at our existing codes and then update them. The May 4th hearing featured comments from several residents on Pleasant Avenue who are currently fighting against the proposed community solar project. While they understand the moratorium doesn't cover the project, they're in opposition to. They were in favor of a moratorium to protect other neighborhoods in Hamburg that might encounter the same battles. Please do not let these giant billion-dollar companies, largely located out of our country, blindside other Hamburg homeowners, said Cameron Burns, a resident of Pleasant Avenue that lives in front of the proposed EDF project. I understand that this moratorium may not apply directly to the specific project that we are currently fighting by a billion-dollar French solar conglomerate, but I'm asking for you to adopt it to protect other neighborhoods in Hamburg from facing what we did, from being caught off guard, out of pace, outspent, and without fair opportunity to respond before their application was submitted. Thomas Burns, Cameron's husband, agreed that a moratorium is the right move for the town at this juncture. A moratorium seems like a common-sense, practical way to slow things down, he said. If there's really value in it, there's no reason these companies won't be prepared to invest 1 year from now with the same level of fervor they're showing today. Tom McMahon, also a resident of Pleasant Avenue, said that if farmland is considered for a Tier 3 solar project in the future, the code should specify that any project not be within 500 yards of neighboring residents, wells, springs, streams, ponds, marshes, and wetlands, and not be within 1 mile of threatened, endangered, or protected wildlife. There are several residents who asked for the town to make an amendment to the moratorium resolution that would cover all Tier 2 and Tier 3 solar projects, no matter when their applications were submitted. The board did not make an amendment to the resolution, and projects that were in the planning pipeline prior to the moratorium being enacted are not impacted. As it stands, the town has 2 Tier 2 solar projects, one approved for the Southwestern Boulevard and another for Taylor Road. There are no battery energy storage projects in the town, but there's one in the village of Blaisdell. There is one Tier 3 battery storage system project in the planning pipeline, a proposal from RIC Energy, a global company specializing in renewable energy development, to construct 2 co-located 5-megawatt battery storage projects for a 2.7-acre parcel at 6433 Railroad Avenue in Lakeview. Over the next year, the Planning Department, Engineering Department, Code Enforcement, Code Review Committee, and the Town Board will review the current codes and work on modernizing them. One of the provisions of the moratorium does allow it to be extended by another 6 months once it reaches its conclusion date, should the town choose to do so. Town of Boston gearing up for summer road work. This is by Chris Gordon. With spring in full swing, Town of Boston Highway Superintendent Robert Tulloch told the Boston Town Board that its crews are out in full force with cleanup with roadwork projects on the horizon. The second round of brush pickup started on May 1st, said Tulloch, noting that brush pickup is now done for the Boston State Road. All remaining streets that did not see brush pickup yet will be completed by the end of May. Telek additionally noted that street sweeping and plow ditch cleanup is also being completed by the Highway Department. The highway superintendent told the board that his crews are going to start paving a pair of town roads soon. Telek said Nova chip, which is used for sealing for existing roads, will be done soon on Sherrill Road and Valley Circle Lane. He was told by the Erie County Department of Public Works that the county is planning to pave Boston State Road to Mill Street, with work starting sometime in June. In another matter, the board scheduled a public hearing at 7:30 p.m. Wednesday, June 3rd, to extend the moratorium for the issuance of permits for battery energy storage systems. Town Supervisor Jason Keating said there currently isn't a code for battery energy storage systems in the town, and that although the perimeters of one have been drawn, the municipality is waiting on the results of a lawsuit involving solar panels to find out if any of the language would need to be altered. Memorial Day parade ceremony set for Hamburg and Lakeview. There will be Memorial Day parades and ceremonies happening in both the village of Hamburg and Lakeview on Monday, May 25th. Hamburg American Legion Post 527 will once again present the Memorial Day event in the village. The parade forms on Pleasant Avenue in front of Union Pleasant Elementary School at 10 a.m. The parade will start at 10:15 a.m. The parade will travel east on Pleasant Avenue, south on Buffalo Street, west on Main Street, north on Center Street, west on Union Street, and end at Memorial Park. After the parade, there will be a small ceremony in Memorial Park where children are encouraged to lead the community in the Pledge of Allegiance. The Hamburg High School Band will perform a few patriotic songs, and the Sons of the American Legion will pass out ice cream to the small children in attendance. To take part in the parade, contact Parade Marshal Don Dunkel at dunkle00@yahoo.com or call 716-572-9816. The Lakeview Community Association Memorial Day Parade will start at 10:30 a.m. from the Southtowns Catholic School at 2052 Lakeview Road. Taking part in the parade will be classic cars, youth groups, clubs, and organizations. After the parade, attendees can head to the Lakeview Fire Hall, Station Number 1, 2005 Lakeview Road for the ceremony, Tykes and Trikes, and the celebration of the upcoming softball and baseball season. For more information about the Lakeview Parade, call 716-698-6569. Youth hunting law passes Erie County Legislature by a 7-3 vote. The Erie County Republican legislator led the effort to pass a youth hunting bill that would allow 12 and 13-year-olds to hunt larger game with adult supervision. Erie County remains the only upstate county to have not passed the measure, and one of only 2 qualifying counties statewide that does not have the law on the books. The measure passed by a vote of 7-3. This is a good law. With adult supervision, our young people can learn how to properly hunt larger game. Passage of this measure allows them to do that, said legislator John Mills. The measure passed in the legislature a few years ago, but was vetoed by County Executive Mark Poloncarz, citing safety concerns. The Department of Environmental Conservation says that since this law has been enacted elsewhere in New York State, there have been 0 accidents. Lakeview resident named Women of Distinction honoree. State Senator Patrick Galvin presented Lakeview resident Joanne Hefner with one of New York State's highest honors, the Women of Distinction Award. Hefner is being recognized for her work as president and CEO of Neighborhood Health Center of Western New York, the region's longest tenured federally qualified health center, and her leadership in the community. Joanne has dedicated her career to helping others and over one of our region's largest primary care providers Gallivan said. Her leadership is instrumental in the delivery of high-quality, patient-centered health care to thousands of Western New York residents. In addition to being an enthusiastic advocate for neighborhood health, Joanne shares her knowledge and experience with numerous community organizers. Under Hefner's leadership, neighborhood health is experiencing significant growth and now has 6 locations, in addition to a mobile unit with a 7th location opening this year. Neighborhood health is a primary care home to more than 34,000 residents and offers adult and pediatric medicine, OBGYN, dentistry, behavioral health, psychiatry, nutrition, podiatry, vision care, and pharmacy services. Hefner attended UVA University and earned her Bachelor's of Science degree in nursing and later returned to obtain a master's degree and a family nurse practitioner degree. DuVille honored her with the Delta Sigma Award, and she earned induction into the Margaret DuVille Honor Society. Her healthcare career spans more than 30 years. Now as president and CEO, she prioritizes strengths-based leadership to drive employee engagement and create career opportunities so all people feel valued. Neighborhood health has also consistently been the highest ranked health center in Western New York for quality, among the highest ranked in the state. Hefner serves as a member of the volunteer roles, including on the board of the Community Healthcare Association of New York State. She is chair of the CHCA NYS HCCN board, on the board of trustees for DuVille University, and on the Univera Healthcare Regional Advisory Board. She is the vice president of Western New York's Safety Net IPA and Safety Net Association of Primary Care Providers. Each year, members of the New York State Senate nominate one individual from their district to be enshrined alongside the many historical women whose contributions have had a positive impact on the state. Some of these trailblazing females include Susan B. Anthony, Lucille Ball, Harriet Tubman, and Emma Willard. LSCSD leads Regional Coalition on Beyond the Breach Cyber Conference. On May 1st, the Lakeshore Central School District hosted the Beyond the Breach Cyber Government Conference at Seneca 1 in Buffalo. The summit brought together superintendents, technology professionals, and data leaders to move districts from passive compliance to active accountability. The day focused on the upcoming transition of the NIST Cybersecurity Framework 2.0, a standard mandated for New York State school districts by the start of the 2026-27 school year. Led by Lakeshore District Data Protection Officer Michelle Krieger, attendees engaged in high-stakes tabletop simulations designed to stress test response plan against realistic scenarios, including unencrypted data leaks and business email compromises. These stress tests allowed regional leaders to identify critical gaps in policy and communication before they manifest as a real-world crisis. Cybersecurity is an organizational mission that requires every department to be at the table, Krieger said. By bringing our regional peers together at Seneca 1, we are ensuring that our leadership teams are prepared, proactive, and rooted in a culture of readiness. Protecting our student athletes and students starts with a secure foundation. The event featured a specialized panel of industry experts, including Antoinette King, Credo Cyber Consulting, Scott Morris, the Beckage Firm, and Randy Glenn, Gallagher Insurance. These professionals provided high-level insight into the intersection of physical safety, legal privilege, and the rigorous requirements of the K-12 insurance market. The district plans to make this summit an annual tradition, fostering a regional network of collaboration to stay ahead of emerging digital threats. Remembering William H. Gale, the barber everyone knew in Hamburg. Those of you who watched Andy Griffith's Tale Life to the fictional community of Mayberry may recall Floyd Lawson, the sometimes forgetful barber whose shop was the meeting place and gossip center for the town's male members. The classic sitcom was built around Sheriff Andy Taylor, Andy Griffith, keeping order in the sleepy village, and focused on family, friendship, and traditional values. The characters frequently found their way in Floyd's barbershop, where they discussed, with subtle humor, conflicts and tribulations. Travel back to the late 1800s and early 1900s, and William H. Gale's barbershop in the old Saunders building at Lake and Main Streets in Hamburg could very well serve as the model for Floyd's barbershop. Gale, in fact, bears a striking resemblance to Howard Turbell McNair, the actor who portrayed Floyd in the show, judging by a photograph of Gale in his shop captured by Jack Edson's Images of Hamburg. Gale, thin with rounded shoulders and a mustache, is posed next to a youngster about to be clipped. Edison noted that an early advertisement for Gale's barbershop read, W. H. Gale, tonsorial artist, physiogeometrical hairdresser, cranium manipulator, and complier arbitrator, shaving and haircutting, with ambidextrous facility, shampooing, and physiological principles. There was a long-winded and perhaps somewhat humorous description of a high-quality barber in the Victorian age. It is not clear when Gale opened his own barbershop, but like others of his time, it was a social hub for men in Hamburg, and Gale, like Floyd Lawson in Mayberry, was a key member of the community. He married Anna Hem, the daughter of the Civil War veteran, and they had one daughter, Emily. Gale was a member of the International Order of the Odd Fellows and the Hamburg Fire Department. Gale died at the age of 59 in 1934, ironically on the same day as his father-in-law, Fred Hen, who was 90. You've been listening to Around Our Area, a weekly look at community newspapers from around Western New York. Your reader for this hour has been Sally Herzog. Thank you so much for listening.
Coming up next in the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service, we have the Ampol Eagle. At 4 o'clock, we have the Grand Island Niagara County Tribune Sentinel. And following that, 5 o'clock, we have the Lockport Union Sun and Journal. Stay with us for these readings and more throughout the day. following program is intended for listeners who are blind, have low vision, or have another print disability